welcome to Hot Nerd Network, the ultimate destination where we celebrate diverse personalities from the real world to the fantasy one. I'm Hot Nerd Syd, your guide through the captivating worlds of fandom, and I'm joined here by our resident survivor expert, Hot Nerd Krystal. What's up, Krystal?
I'm back. What it do?
Yes. Okay. No, we are ready to dive into this episode 3 of Survivor 45. I
Man,
mean, we first have to start with Sabaya's
baby.
downfall. How did you feel
Not
about
even the downfall, the cookout, babes. Like we're having a BB crossover. We're having a cookout moment in Survivor.
yes,
What's going
literally.
on?
Literally. And we're not talking the alliances. We are talking a
No,
literal candle wax
flipping
being
it, roasting it.
roasted.
You gotta get up and tend to it, baby. You gotta flip the meat. Come on now.
Oh my goodness, that was the wildest thing.
We
Like
had
one of
Sean
the
pouring
wildest.
the water. Like they had a whole teamwork. Come on, baby. Come
It was
on.
so crazy,
And
yeah.
Jeff let them sit there and do that.
He was eating it up, okay? He was like, "Ooh, ooh, what we're because then she's gonna find out what it says. Is she gonna open it for everybody? Is she gonna open it by herself? What's she gonna do, you know?"
Man,
It
I
was
don't even
so
know where to be. I mean, one, our predictions were correct.
they were.
She
I'm
said
sad
she
they
was
were.
running. She said she was running the tribe. We saw it coming from there.
Yeah.
Listen, I want to say I am not a Sabaya hater. I was rooting for her. I want her to win. I wanted her to win.
Mhm.
I just was believing what the edit and what she was showing me.
Yep.
Okay, and it panned out. I'm so sorry. I think she'd be great for a returnee cast. I
Yes.
think she had a lot to learn this season, and if she comes back, I hope she implements what she's learned. Because I like her. She's great people.
She is. She's a great personality. We said it before. I just think that if I could guess, I don't think that she's like done nearly like as much diving into Survivor as like the typical Survivor super fan. That
Hmm.
doesn't mean she's not a fan of the show because she was running it out there. I just think again when we're thinking about different levels of Survivor strategy, she was on level 2, and part of level 2 is don't play too hard. She was, oh my gosh,
She was
as
playing
soon as
very hard, too fast. She was playing
too
hard and
fast,
fast. Yeah.
too fast. Like we talked about the fact that like, oh, no, we didn't talk about this. Sorry. When I heard her start to come after Caleb, I was like, what are you doing? Like, what is going
And
on?
but what's crazy about that part is, so I stopped the purism thing, and I did listen to some Rob has a podcast stuff
Shout
already.
out to Rahab.
I listened to her interview with Rob, and
Yes.
I listened to maybe like 20 minutes of like the not know-it-alls, but the like recap right after.
Like
Okay.
the recap show. Yes.
Her interview was very informative, and she was trying to explain it, and I definitely don't think she's a super fan the way that, like, let's say we're super fans, or like seen every season, know how the stuff works. Like, I think
Yeah.
she's seen Survivor. I think she watched it.
Yeah.
I don't think she's like listening to the podcast and like reading the things and practicing the puzzles. I don't think that's what she was doing. Because she was saying when she was out there, when Caleb came back from the raid tribe or raiding that tribe, that's when she was like, oh, like now he's making connections with other people. He's really a threat. Like, and she was saying too, like, I felt like I was a threat out there, but I felt like Kayla was a bigger threat. Thinking you're a threat is already the wrong place to be in your mind. Like, you do need self-awareness, but
Mhm.
she was thinking too far ahead. You thought you were a threat, and you thought Caleb was a threat, and you didn't want to sit next to him at the final tribal. Baby, we haven't made it to the merge.
No, yo,
You gotta
drop
think
the
about
mic.
tomorrow. You can't think about 20 days from now. And
No.
I think that's what got her messed up. Like
Yeah.
it was too far, too soon, too fast.
Too fast.
Why would you break you she did know Emily and him was Kiki. I thought
That's
she did
so like it's there's so much to say.
not.
There's so much to say. But even just going to your first point, yes, like you're thinking about day 26, look, I'm about to say day 39,
All right,
day
hello.
26, with who you're gonna sit next to, you have got to make it to merge. Like this game, whenever, and you're right, whenever we're listening to these podcasts, these after, these players talking about after the
Mhm.
game, during the game, all of their perspectives, they always talk about thinking about the game in parts. There's a big difference between surviving pre-merge versus surviving merge. Who are even the power players in pre-merge versus merge? Because the power players are going to be somebody like Caleb
Right.
in pre-merge, but merge, oh my gosh, people are gonna target Caleb right away.
And
Right away.
yeah, and if she thought she was a threat, if she were, let's say, we're thinking on 301 strategy, you would absolutely want to keep Caleb around because
Yes.
if she can recognize that he's a threat, other people can too.
Yes.
And he's got the connection with the other people, XYZ, he will seem like a bigger threat than you if you are this big threat.
Yes, he's a perfect shield. And I know she's kicking herself. I know she's like,
And
dang.
and they don't know a swap is coming. Baby, how you supposed to keep winning? How you gonna win challenges without Caleb? I
Oh,
think for me, I think that's the crux where I'm like, that was bad gameplay.
oh yeah.
Not knowing, like, let's say you did think the merge was coming or something, maybe voting out Caleb makes sense. You have no clue and you're willing to get rid of your best player. They won the reward off the back of Caleb. So he damn near dragged them to the end, baby. And you
Yes.
wanna vote him out and y'all ain't got food, like that's bad. It just doesn't make any sense. And
No.
you thinking about day 26, babe, y'all gonna be starved by the
Yes.
time you get there.
No, y'all are gonna pull a whole palau and just be one woman standing before even getting to the merge. Like, yeah, it just was ridiculous. And yeah, shout out to Caleb. I mean, man, we'll get into it, but he literally carried. I literally wrote again. Caleb is the MVP of these challenges. Like every single challenge he does. But yeah, no,
I know he
Sabaya
does.
just Sabaya, she was definitely very premature. I think that when we look at just even her, to your next point, trying to bring in Emily, I was like, wait, hold up.
And it was too
I'm
late. It was
I
too late.
I'm not even on this tribe, and I know that Caleb and Emily have a more outward relationship with each other because Caleb was even saying, I like even in this episode, he was like, it's not like I was trying to hide my relationship with Emily because it wasn't like I can play it off like it's not strategic. It's more so wanting to be in this sort of mentor relationship. But like, so like that signal to me, like, oh, so everybody knows that they have some sort of kumbaya mission. What are you telling Emily
The thing
for?
is, I do think she had to tell Emily because she was going to put her idol in the fire at Tribal.
Yes.
So I get
Yes.
it, but it's just like, babe, I don't know. She should have told her soon. Like, I just don't know where Sabaya's head, and I don't know she could have done it better because, and also in the interview it told us, which is helpful, she did try to burn it last Tribal. Tried to
Oh,
burn it in her thingy, and then like she tried different fires and it wasn't working. And then tribal was over. Brandon went home. So she was saying that she did try that first tribal and they just didn't show it. It didn't work out. Okay, that makes me feel better because I was like,
right.
I think if Caleb was on the fence about who was telling the truth, seeing Sabaya be pressed about that daggone idol and wanting her vote back, baby, what you need your vote back for if we
Right.
cool?
Right.
What you need
Right.
your vote back for?
Right. No, and you're right, you're right. She needed to tell Emily. I didn't realize this till afterwards, till watching the Rahab after game show, that yeah, Sabaya did need Emily's vote because then it would have just been Sean voting, and it would have been like, but this is why I still don't think that she needed. You know what? Sorry, because I did this back and forth last night with myself. This is why I still don't think she needed Emily's vote. If she wanted to
It
truly
would have
get
been
Caleb out,
split though. It would have been split. If she would have got her vote back, it
no,
would have been split vote.
it didn't have to be
Because
because
what you think Caleb would vote Emily?
Caleb would have voted Emily. Sean, she would have told Emily to. Emily would have voted
Who would have
like,
Emily voted for though?
yeah, that's fair. Caleb, just tell her Caleb at that point. Ah, fuck,
Exactly,
that's
and
what she
that's what
said.
she did. Yeah,
That's what she did. You're
or
right.
she would have voted Sabaya.
Yeah, you're so right.
Yeah,
Okay,
no.
so you just
I
tell
thought Sabaya was
Caleb.
gonna get her vote back, and it was gonna be a 2-2 split. Other people, I didn't even consider this. It could have been a 1-1-1. It could have been a
Yeah,
Emily, Sabaya,
yeah.
Caleb. That would have been messy. That would have been something.
A mess. And they were debating that also, Rahab, like, who would have done what. But either way, yeah, okay, you're right. She was. If this is just why voting out Caleb was just so
It
crazy
was
to
so
deal with
and
because it's
it's
like
stupid because you've been fighting with Emily since
like
day
the whole
one.
time. So what do you think? Who do you think she's gonna be loyal to? She's gonna be loyal to the person who was trying to rope her in. Like I was even like I literally wrote down. I have to have my notes, and I literally wrote down, "Don't tell Emily."
When she
What?
told Emily, I knew. So, okay, we had predicted last week that Sabaya was going to be going home soon. I didn't know it was coming next episode. I promise you. I thought they might not go to tribal when they won the reward. I said, oh, they got momentum.
I was so
Maybe it's going to
excited
be the blue tribe. I thought Bella was going to go, possibly, because
too.
they showed them bickering a lot, right? Or
Oh
whatever.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. The moment I knew Sabaya was done for sure is when she told Emily about that daggone idol.
I was like,
It was nail in the coffin. I knew it.
I
I knew it.
what and this was like not even before tribal, but then again, I think you're right. Like if she would have come to her before tribal, it would have seemed less I don't know, she was trying to get her ducks in a row. She was trying to do the best she could. But it's like this was already a failed plan to start with because Caleb and Emily are closely tied because of Caleb's great social game, which you are already perceiving him as a threat for. Just, leave it in the dust. But yeah, she had to tell Emily to so that there could be enough votes.
What we also didn't know is Sabaya and Sean were so tight, right? That's what I've learned from her
Yeah,
interview.
yeah.
So if I'm Emily, I already been at the bottom this whole time.
Why
Why
would I be
did I vote with you and you're number one and be at the bottom again when I can
again?
go tell this guy and probably become his number one and you gone and now Sean, your number one is at the bottom. It
Again.
just and I know they hungry and they tired and everything's moving fast and you thinking in the future, but it's just like there were so many things in line that
Yeah.
it just even when she came back to camp and she was like, oh, Caleb. What's crazy, what we didn't predict is we didn't predict why or how she was going to go out. We just knew from what we were seeing
Right.
it wasn't looking good for her. Never
Right.
in my wildest dreams did I think it was going to be because she started throwing Caleb under the bus.
I was like, what? Caleb
That
was
was the worst thing to do.
so bad. Like, and yes, I just think that like when it came to her wanting to rope in Emily, this is again Survivor 201, Survivor 301. At this point in time, I need to link that video so that y'all can understand what we're talking about. But like 201, you're thinking about like one is just thinking about other people. I think somebody's at 201. I think she's thinking about that like how she not just how she perceives other people, but how other people are perceiving her because she's like people see me as a threat, but she is not thinking about how people are like perceiving themselves through her eyes. You know what I mean? And that's 301. Because if she would have been thinking on that level, she would have been seeing, okay, Emily is probably thinking that I am trying to put her on the bottom with this plan. Not like, hey, Emily, actually, I want to go all the way with you. You're not saying those things, or at least we're not seeing you say those things to her, even just one on one. Every single time she brought Emily in, Shaw was right next to them. So it's not feeling like, to
Yep.
your point, this is a partnership or you're with me and you to the end. No, this is just feeling like, hey, Emily, I need you as a pawn to take out my biggest threat, which is your biggest ally. Absolutely not. No, 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 no,
And
no.
I'm like, Shabaya's not showing any loyalty, right? You got mad at Emily for the
Oh,
first time
yeah,
because she threw you and Caleb under the bus, and now you want Caleb out.
yeah,
So and what I saw in Sabaya and what made me be critical is okay, when I just saw her in her interview, she said her only strength or her strongest strength was camp life. I don't know what
yeah.
that means because y'all don't have a fire. Did she build the shelter? They had a nice shelter.
The
I was
shelter
like,
was
they
beautiful.
had a nice shelter. Maybe she built the shelter, so she killed that. Architect on our hands, baby. She might need to switch jobs, okay? But she was saying camp life was her strength. Y'all have no fire
No,
and no food.
no.
The camp life can't be that strong. You going to get in coconuts or whatever. You weren't as good in challenges as you should have been, and you're
She was
showing us
better
that
this
you're not
episode.
loyal.
She was a little better.
She did do better, but you're also showing us that you're not loyal, and we can't trust you. Because if we go back to last week, she
Yep.
was buddying up to Brandon. He
Yep.
killed Brandon. Got Brandon to give her the beware advantage, and now she said the boy can go.
Yes.
Brandon can get on up out of here. So you've shown us multiple times that you're not trustworthy or loyal. Like if I give you something, you're actually just going to get me out. So
Right.
I said it last week. I'm gonna say it again. Emily is who Sabaya thought she was, and I hate that it's true. I hate it, but it's so true. I'm so sorry.
Oh, like Sabia's who Emily thought she was.
Emily, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
Emily
oh,
is who
yeah,
Sabaya thought she was. Like Sabaya thought she was running everything and she had all this power and was
oh,
making moves. Emily
yes.
was actually the one that was doing that.
Yes, no, she was, and she was doing it from the bottom. We talk about, like, or not we, I talk with Rahab to my, like, one-way TV.
Yeah, yeah.
We talk about, like, playing from the bottom and playing from the top. And, like, I think that it can be sometimes quite hard for people to do both, but we're seeing how Emily is doing a phenomenal job playing from the bottom. Like,
She
oh
played
my
her
goodness.
ass off. I'm sorry.
She is doing well. This is 2 episodes in a row because the first episode, trash. Second and third episode, hero. Because this one, I was like, so is Emily really, like, the producers really had us thinking that Emily wasn't going to go tell Caleb, but she did it right. She went right before tribal. So Caleb could not go
I
in
agree. She did perfect timing. She did.
perfect timing.
I peeped that too. Yeah.
Perfect timing. She made sure that Caleb could not go back to Sabaya and be like, what the F? Like, what are you really doing this to try to no, he had to trust. And she was looking at him, she was like saying, you need to, what are you gonna do? You're gonna do this? Yes. And I was like, then it was in Caleb's hands. How do you feel about, like, if you were Caleb, would you have trusted in Emily off the strength
I
that
would
you
have.
and Sabaya had of y'all already said, I'm gonna tell Emily you, and you're gonna tell Emily me.
Only reason I would have trusted it is because of the timing that she did it at.
Yeah.
It all, and at least how the episode showed us. So, right, we don't know what the real timing was in real life, but Emily knew that in the episode. It felt like a lot sooner than she told it.
Oh yeah,
And
she
so
knew
when
it
she,
before tribal. I mean,
yeah, so when she came up to Caleb, the thing that sold it for me was she was like, I know you think I'm telling you this because I think I'm going home and I can tell you for 100% I'm not going. I'm trying to save your ass. The way she said it was very
yeah,
convincing, but it was true. And
true.
again, remember, Caleb is the one who pulled her out her shell and that got her to do this and that and make a
Trust
change.
her.
Even Sabaya said in this last episode, she said, Emily was a little tough at the beginning, but she's coming around and it's
Yes.
getting better. Da da da. Caleb did that. And
Yeah.
so I think Caleb probably can read Emily or probably can gauge Emily a little bit better. And when she
Yes.
came up to him and said, it's you, I know you think I'm telling you this because it's me, and I can 100% guarantee you. Hello, people been hating her for 3 weeks. She ain't never got her name written down.
That,
She's never got her
that
name written
part,
down.
that part, you're so right. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that she is
Baby's
honest.
walking back to camp scot free, baby. Like, come on, come
That is
on.
so true. But no,
Mm-mm.
I was genuinely, because I was like on the tip of my tongue, like I was like, Caleb, are you about to get yourself voted out like Tyson, hero versus villain, simply by not listening to the right person, the right ally? And I was so proud of him that he was able to, like, for them to be able to both trust in each other this way, because these are the types of moves that make your partnership solidified for the
They're
long.
going deep. They might be at Final Four. Like, I think maybe Final Five, Final Four is when Caleb and Emily are going to be like, we might have to get rid of each other.
Yeah,
But I
exactly.
think they're going to make it far
Far,
together. Because even
far.
though Caleb is a threat, now that he really has Emily in his pocket and vice versa, I think they will fight to keep the other.
Yeah.
And honestly, Caleb might be a challenge beast. Like, Caleb might win his at like Caleb might be winning immunity every week. So
I
it really
hope.
doesn't matter.
I hope. I love him. I
I
was
like
just
Caleb.
looking at him.
This episode, yeah.
I was like, I mean, granted, his threat level has been just Batman cast to the entire, the whole season. But I really like him. Even seeing him sit there doing his confessionals, I'm like, you're just like a little cute boy.
Like
Like,
little curly hair. He
I'm
and he
like,
seems so nice. He seems so
yes. And
chill.
he knows how to use it. He's not annoying. Like, he is just so charismatic. Shout out to a fellow salesperson. Yeah, I work in sales. I don't really love it, but he's using it. Like, like,
Yeah.
even just his thought process. Let's go ahead and start to move into other parts of this episode.
Mhm.
Um, we're gonna get to the camp rate and his thought process to it, but
Mhm.
we can't move to the camp rate without shedding light on the Lulu losers no more, at least for a second,
For a second. I
with the
had hope. I had a lot of hope.
I mean, with the reward challenge, how hard, so we see, let's talk about that.
Right.
Speaking of challenges,
Mhm.
Have the episode where, we typically don't get to see reward challenges, but even with this extended episode, we start to see some more reward challenges this week. This is exactly what I was telling you last time. I wanted to personally see to get the
Mhm.
episode kind of feeling like, I mean, I love rewards. I love to see the survivors eat. So when I saw that they were going to be competing for some fruit, I was super excited. And, they also were competing for some power, which was in the form of going to raid another tribe's camp for their supplies, or for whatever they needed, or it could be information. And then we see that Lulu wins, okay, on the back
Amen.
of Caleb, and then they also choose Caleb to go represent them on a
And
camp.
choosing Caleb. Another moment that stood out to me about possibly why Caleb believed Emily, or why I do think they're gonna go far, is what Emily had to say about Caleb when they picked him. She's like, yeah, like we could all agree he's like the best person, he's charismatic. Like she had so many good things to say about Caleb.
Yeah.
And like I really think it was true. I don't think there was any ulterior motive. Like I think that's how she feels. And the fact that she's open and feels open enough to say it, Emily and Caleb to the end, baby. I'm sorry, I got a new duo. Like
I
they,
ship them.
uh,
I ship them as alliance members. I really do.
oh
And
my
I
god.
like the whole I because like, as a woman, as a black woman, I would love to think that I would partner up with other black people or other women, but it's a theme this season, but in many others, of course, of opposites attracting and really being able to fly under the radar
Mhm.
because they're opposites. And I think that, like, both with Caleb and Emily, as well as Austin and Drew, I mean, they of course pop out as partners, but when they go on other tribes where they start to swap, that's a lot easier to hide versus anything else. So
Mhm.
to your point, yes, it is a great point that Emily was speaking so highly of Caleb. And Caleb, gets to the boat, gets to see this goodwill advantage. I wonder, and I want to ask you, how
Mhm.
would you have played this?
What, going to raid the tribe?
Go to raid the tribe and the goodwill
Oh
advantage.
yeah. Okay, another point, something else that was interesting about Caleb, or commentary about Caleb, was I'm pretty sure it was Drew, and he was saying, of course it's Caleb that came. Of course, he's the biggest personality over there. He's the strongest. He's charismatic. Da da. I thought that was interesting.
Very. I forgot
I
that
thought
you
that,
said that.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Drew, but
It was. It was. It
somebody.
was.
Yeah, interesting point. I hate, like, that might be foreshadowing something for Caleb, but again, Caleb might be an immunity beast, and so we'll find out.
We'll see.
Put that on the back burner. Going to the raided tribe. What I didn't get, and maybe it's against the rules. Why did Caleb not take their flint? Somebody help. Can you not take the flint? Must you earn the flint? Is that the only way to get the flint?
I
Baby, I
was.
wouldn't do it for nothing else. He took fishing gear and they don't have fire.
I'm like, how you gonna cook the fish? How, you gonna eat sushi?
Literally. Also, I'm sorry, they've been out there 7 days with no flint.
It's
Y'all know
weird.
there's other ways to make a fire without flint. Y'all better start rubbing two sticks together.
Something.
Brandon had glasses. They could have used a magnifying glass.
Something. You
I'm
saw the
sorry.
cow they
They didn't
did.
have fire. It's been a week. And fire is life. So y'all been dead in the water for a week.
A while. And that's, in this like 26 day time period, how much is that? That's like a third of the time or a fourth of
Literally.
the
So
time. Like,
I really was questioning why he didn't take the flint. I am assuming that maybe you can't. Maybe you literally
maybe.
can't get flint until you win immunity,
I
because
think
nothing else
so.
makes sense to me.
I mean, and they
Um,
seem savvy enough to like have wanted to get the flip, but have been told no.
hell, take some fire. Hell, I don't know how you bring it back, but get a stick, some, get some kindling or something. I don't know. So not taking fire, I thought was interesting, but I'm guessing maybe you couldn't. Maybe it
Right.
was tough. I don't know. I liked how he opened up and he's like, "Yeah, what does everyone do?" And he is charismatic and he is good with people, and I do think other people can tell.
Yeah.
So big picture, maybe it shouldn't have been Caleb to go,
I mean, I
but I
I
get why he did it.
yeah, I get it. Like, I think that the tribe was like, I mean, it's interesting because I really wondered to myself, how would I have wanted to play this? Like, would I have been wanting to put a target on my back going? Because I think anybody else, like, no matter who you are, that is a target now that you've placed on yourself, because now you've been able to establish these different, like, tribal communications that others have not. So I think that it's like Caleb being the leader and Sabaya, Sean not really trusting Emily to do it, but also not wanting to put the target on their backs was like, yeah, go ahead, Caleb. You're the mascot of Lulu. Go for it. You know, we don't want that smoke, you know, and it that's exactly what happened. Like Reba, every single person, the way that Caleb approached it was like, oh yeah, Caleb is a player. Caleb is playing this game. And it really called back into my mind when you were talking about, oh, Caleb could be first merge boot because that's what he's giving. That he's giving like everybody's gonna be targeting him to go. Like he's
Literally.
like, I don't want to compare him to him because he's a MAGA boy, Joe, but he's giving Joe like energy in terms of the golden boy sort of vibe.
I agree. The only paying attention to edit. Here are some possible predictions. If Caleb, I think Caleb will be the merge target.
Yeah.
However, he might be a challenge beast. And so
Yeah.
the story might be, hell yeah, he was supposed to be the merge vote, but he's going to keep winning immunity. And so now what are you going to do?
Right.
That could be a pathway for him because, like, it is seeming too good to be true. Nobody wants this much this soon. It's
No,
day 7. You do not want other people knowing. I think sending Emily would have been okay.
that's fair, but they don't trust her.
They
Like
don't trust her, but if I'm Caleb, I would have trusted that we can send Emily. The only issue is they would have been probably afraid that she wouldn't get info, but that's good. I don't want Emily to have info, so
right.
I don't know.
She could have made a like a not a fool of herself, but she's not the most charismatic for sure.
Exactly, and she's
Really.
off putting.
She
People
really
already don't like her because she be having smoke for people on the mat. So
exactly. No, and she's very like still calculated. Like she still would have gotten them a good enough offering or raid of some sort. You're right. I think Emily would have been from a tribe perspective to keep your threat level low too, a better like probably a better option. I really wonder who she would have given the goodwill advantage to and how she would have played it because I will say for everything that I thought Caleb played this well.
he gave
I
it to
just
Drew, right? He gave it to Drew, didn't he?
he gave it to Drew. I think Drew played that piece better. We'll get to my thoughts on that. But Caleb, um, how'd you feel about the whole one-on-one situation? Like, did you like that?
I didn't really think anything of it. I mean, I get it because he was trying to figure out who to give this advantage to.
Yeah.
But then the
Yeah.
tea is Drew went and told everybody that he got
Everybody.
it. But I think it was smart of Drew to do that actually.
Oh yeah, because of the yes, and we'll talk about like
Because he was already in hot water with
he went
the
hot water with
yeah.
the
So I
so
think that makes sense. I don't know what else he could have. I don't know how
yeah.
else he would have figured it out. Unless he came in already having an idea who he wanted.
He doesn't know. So yeah, it's just you can't fly too high, too low under the radar. I'm glad he went, big instead of like go big, go home. Like he went in big. He came in charismatic. He made everybody feel good. He established those lines. I loved the little moment with Sifu in the guitar rip. That was so funny and cute. But yeah, Drew in this part. So let's go ahead. Let's move on to Drew. He keeps using this technique that we talk about. He's used it now 3 times where
Hmm.
he's strategically telling truths and, secrets, and it's earning him different rewards in different ways. We first saw it when it came to telling his whole tribe
Hmm.
about the advantage that he won on Shipwheel
Yeah.
Island or
Hmm.
whatever island. And that earned him the trust of Austin to be able to tell him about the beware advantage. And then they're starting to work with each other. Then he goes, him and Austin are telling Dee and Julie, really random things. I want to get your thoughts on that. But, that's earning trust with them. Then we see him use this exact same technique with Caleb, where he's like, yeah, I went to Shipwell Island. I got this advantage. What are your this is just me being honest. And Caleb's like, oh, you're willing to tell me something really big that you
Well, I'm gonna
probably
tell you something. Boom. Yep.
like what how you're feeling about your winner
I
picks,
was gonna say it's worrying me. He's getting a lot of airtime, and he's doing a lot. He's getting all these advantages. It's giving. Who had it? It's was it Carla last week? I don't know. Um, and I
Carla.
liked Carla a lot, but she went out at 5. I'm pretty sure. So
5 or 4, 5 or 4,
yeah.
yeah. Carson
Um,
too. Carson as well.
I know, and that's worrying me because Drew, he got his hands everywhere,
He's so
and
good.
I think when they swap, depending on whose tribe he's on, is when it will become apparent.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's gonna happen at the swap. I don't even think we're gonna have to wait till the merge. I think at swap, people are gonna start to realize, damn, this Drew kid kind of got know a lot, know a little, and because everybody on his tribe, which all of them are still there because no one else has gone to tribal, everybody on his tribe knows he has these things.
yeah. So you have something to tell.
That's 6 people that know Drew got something, and if they're all split up, separated,
Yeah,
there's no incentive to not tell on him per se. Or if you're on the same tribe and you're at risk,
yeah.
I'm gonna put you under the bus. So it's worrying me a little bit. Also, D, I like her. She's perceptive.
He's
I,
very
I,
intuitive.
she had the foot thing going on last episode. She picked the game very quickly. She's
Yeah,
intuitive.
very intuitive.
She knew he was lying. She knew they were lying. She knew something was going on, but she let them in. What I loved is she in her mind was like, these people lying to me, but she
Yeah,
kept it cool. She like, all right, well,
she kept it
yeah,
mellow.
what y'all? Oh, let's do this, do that. Like she kept it chill. I'm looking for her. I think she might. Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see where D goes. This
I
episode
am
maybe a little bit to D. I'm saying, okay. Especially
very
in the swap. I'm very excited to see what she does in the swap.
I'm very intrigued because she plays a more passive game, which is what you're supposed to do pre-merge.
She has
Like
a
if
lot of
you're
thoughts. Like her mind
yes,
is working.
is working without her having to like word vomit it like a Emily would. And so D, she played that perfectly. She did not let her emotions rule her, even though you can see in the confessional she was pissed. She was like, "You're lying to my face," but you know it is what it is. I'm glad that she has her number one in Julie, but
Hmm.
I do see that, like to your point, when we get to a swap, D is the perfect example of somebody who's going to throw Drew under the bus if it's just those two, swap with some other people. She's gonna be like, no, I don't need to work with this man anymore. He has all the advantages
And
in
he's a
the world,
liar.
and he's willing to lie to me. So
Hmm.
I'm not. Yeah, she's it's interesting, but of course they don't know that the swap is coming. So they've been playing as if this is not going to happen. So
Yeah.
that they're working towards building trust for merge. So it's
I'm
super.
interested to see how that's gonna go. I like D. D people that stood out to me this episode that I haven't been paying attention to is D.
Uh,
Um really is D. D was really the one. Kendra. I think Kendra had a good showing this episode. Astrology girl.
I
She
I
did
love
really good in the immunity challenge.
I love Kendra. No,
Shout
and
out
she
Kendra.
doesn't give up.
And there was somebody else. J Maya. I'm not saying she did anything that makes me think, let's say she's gonna win,
Mhm.
but I noticed her more this episode, if that's worth anything.
Oh, it is, and we will
Yeah.
talk a little bit more about J. Maya. There's a secret scene that we're going to feature at the end of the
Mm.
episode that I even haven't seen, but it's featuring her. So yeah, I feel like we have not seen a lot from her or Sifu as much as I mean we've seen
Yeah,
her
seafood. And
but
what's interesting to me about seafood though is I know for a fact he was the first confessional of the season, and
yeah,
he was the first person on the boat. And
yes.
now he goes from being the first person on the boat, first confessional, to I'm not sure he had any confessionals this last episode.
I don't think so. Like, I think that he just had that guitar rip scene,
Yeah,
and people were talking about Seafood. Definitely, they were throwing him under the bus. But like, I think that what's going to happen to Seafood is I'm actually not. I don't think it's bad that he has not been pulled into the main
I agree.
alliance on Reba because I think that that gives him. That's not to say that he's probably playing a lot of game out there that we're not really seeing. They're just not actively working with him, and he thinks that they are. But I think that's going to allow him a lot of fluidity to be able to form alliances outside of the tribe, but also inside the tribe because they're going to need his vote at
I
some point
don't.
in time.
I don't think Sifu thinks he's working with them. I think if I had to guess, Sifu knows he's on the bottom.
Yeah.
I think Sifu knows he's outside the core alliance, which
Fair.
when they swap is going to work to his
Oh
advantage,
my
not
goodness.
theirs.
I'm so excited for him. And
Yeah.
this is the Seafood. I still predict that Seafood's going to make it to Final Tribal, and I'm just excited to see
Ooh, I
how.
love that. I love
So
that.
that's really cool. I before we move off of Reba though onto the Blue Tribe, we definitely have to talk about this treasure hunt because oh my goodness, like
It's good.
I have so many thoughts. Like first, I thought it was interesting that, we found out that Austin actually doesn't have the idol. He just found out where the idol was. And,
Mhm.
for some, in my notes, I'm like, wow, Drew's knees are fucked. Like this,
I told you last episode, everybody's knees are effed up though.
they really
Everybody's
are.
knees. When Sabaya got voted out, she had a little thing on her face.
I was like,
She sliced her hand in her interview with Rob. She said she sliced her hand doing something with bamboo, and so that's why, like, when she was tending to the fire at the tribal, she was like being timid. She said she had a bandage around her jaw, her hand was leaking. I said, there are
whoa.
out there. Oh, we didn't even mention. Very glad he's okay. The lawyer dude
Oh my gosh.
passing
Because
out into the fire. I'm so glad he was
yeah,
okay. That was scary.
I'm so happy. I was like, this is giving Michael Scoop in just that way, not
It
any other
was
way.
scary.
Just
Yeah, yeah.
oh my goodness, that was super scary. That was scary for Kendra to witness too. But yeah, Drew's knees, I finally noticed them this period. I was like, damn.
They get everybody needs look like that. They all
Yeah,
after
everybody. Julie's
all.
also like I was like, what happened to their knees? To your point from episode ago, but I was they Drew and Austin they formed this plan. They're like, okay, we're gonna stay on lookout so that not even Dee and Julie walk up on us. We don't want anybody to walk up on us. First Austin got to digging. He couldn't find anything, so Drew swaps out with him. Who walks up on them? Like
Right.
who Austin?
It
What's
was such a reduction. What I'm trying to remember is did Sabaya okay, Brandon found the beware advantage. Then I feel like Sabaya got to the wax very quickly. Did everybody know that she was looking for
So
the
remember,
item?
she had to climb up
Oh, she
some
didn't
way.
have to do the thing. So she didn't have
Yeah,
to do what you call it.
they had different like ways of getting to the idol, which I love.
Me too, but the idol says the same thing, which I do. What I appreciate is they showed us Austin and Drew and all them getting it and reading it out. So once Sabaya got to tribal, it wasn't like us having to learn all that too.
I
That
love
was
that.
good. Shout out to
Yes.
producers and the editors for that.
Oh my goodness, they're just thinking so the game I literally wrote down I was like the game mechanics this year are phenomenal. From the Shipwell Island, them having to like, lose their vote if they want to play a game. Like I thought that in the way that they actually lost their vote because they lost the game, that is so ingenious to me, as well as this idol play. Because and we can just skip to talking about the way that the idol works.
I was gonna say, what do you think about the idol? I love it. I think this idol's great.
It's
Yeah,
amazing.
it's
This
great.
is the
This is
best
good.
version of the idol that I have seen in modern day Survivor. And I can say that easily because oftentimes you'll have six different idols floating around because they each carry some of them are, only good for one tribal, some are
Mm-hmm.
good for the whole game. It's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
It's confusing. It's not what we get what you're trying to do, but you're not accomplishing it. This accomplishes everything. This gives the players agency to decide, do I need this idol right now or am I willing to risk my vote? The thing that gives me also agency in this game to get the
Mm-hmm.
people I want to get out. Do I risk
Mm-hmm.
my vote to be able to get further in the game? And we saw it work. I mean, this was like just we saw it work. It was like instant gratification because
Literally, literally.
Sabaya needed her vote. She
Not
was
only did she need the vote, she needed the idol that only worked for one tribal. Bump the vote. She needed the idol. Instant gratification. My goodness, you fiction writers couldn't make anything better than this. Like, ah,
nothing. It was a tragedy, an eloquent Shakespearean tragedy to the end, where this queen Sabaya falls. Like it was beautiful to watch, but it
it
was
really
just
was
like
good.
it was so
This was some good television. Oh my
it
god,
was,
like edge
it
of
was
my
so
seat.
yes,
So
and
yeah,
yeah.
like I live in Philadelphia. It's a big sports town. The Phillies are like in the playoffs right now, and they also had a
Oh
really
boy.
good game yesterday. Survivor gave me the same. Bro, they hit like 6 home runs, which is insane.
Wow.
Survivor was just as good as that Phillies game, which in
Wow.
history is probably one of the best games they've maybe ever played.
Wow.
Survivor was on it, boy.
I tell people Survivor is my sports because I don't even be watching sports like
I
that, but I'm
feel
like,
that.
this is what I play fantasy for. This is what I would commentate on. Like, this is
This is
what
an episode. If people wanna understand why we're obsessed with Survivor and they want a new a post 40 season,
yeah.
this is the episode. This
Yeah.
is the episode that should explain why people are obsessed with Survivor. Because
Yes.
I've been talking about, so I'm so obsessed with Survivor. I watch international versions now, only Australia, and I think the recent seasons of Australian Survivor are 10 times better than recent of America.
Wow.
However, this episode was giving Australian teas, baby. Like, when I
Wow.
tell you Australian Survivor is like chef's kiss, this
Yes.
episode was up there with it. So like, man, they was playing. They were
They were
playing.
playing. They were playing, and the players were playing, but they were being given good game mechanics to play with. Like it kind of kills me. I'm going up a little bit off topic, but when we think about something like Winners at War, where I absolutely hated the tokens. Like the tokens were
And they never
awful.
used them. They never really like they used them, but they didn't for what? Like,
It
yeah.
didn't make any sense, and it made players play bad. This is what like, these sort of, like, clear game mechanics, I mean, now they have bylaws, like, this was, like, the most in-depth idle sheet I have ever seen, but every single piece of it made sense, and it was very clear. I'm glad that every single tribe is gonna have to do the same. I'm almost positive that they're gonna put Sabaya's idol back into the game, even though she walked away with it. I feel in my heart and soul that when they do this tribe swap, they're gonna put an idol back onto the Lulu Beach, and that's just gonna be what it is.
I can see
And
that.
like the way that we're even to get back to the treasure hunt piece, even introduced to it initially is through this series of a treasure hunt essentially. And I love that because we used to have that even on earlier Survivor seasons where it wasn't like, oh, you just go somewhere and you instantly find the first thing that's hidden and oh, it happens to be an idol. No, remember, it used to be one of those things like if I even just go back to Micronesia, you would have to go all the way to Exile Island to find
Mhm.
a clue to go find it back at camp. So the fact that it's this multi-step process is something that's really intriguing to me. But how did you feel about their journey to finding this idol and everything?
I once we saw all of it play out, so I think seeing Red Tribe find the idol is what really made Sabaya's downfall hit as hard as it did. Hate to say, right? All of the things led up in a great way. So, okay, like I said, in another point, remember, it feels like Sabaya found her idol very quickly.
Oh, she did.
Okay,
But I
and
mean,
she knew
Caleb
that
helped
she had
her.
it.
Everybody helped them. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. So now they're remember they found the thing and now they got a hammer and they're cracking rocks and I loved it. It was great for television, boom bam. But the great part was they found this idol, we opened the idol and it's not a regular idol because you're
Yeah.
not going to have your vote and they explain all these rules to us. That's beautiful because now we know when Sabaya goes to tribal and throws that wax in there, she going to find out that oh no baby, you don't just get your vote back. You have all these things at play. In her
Yeah.
interview, she said she wasn't even going to open her idol. But when she was going to vote, production told her, no, you have to open your idol right now. She's like, I wanted to go back to camp and open my idol because I knew I had my vote back. But of course, because of what the idol said, there's
Yeah.
last one tribal. I'm at tribal. She said production stepped in and was like, you got to open this.
You have to open the boat. Yeah.
So now she opens it and then she starts figuring it out. Beautiful though. Like I
Yeah.
mean, instant gratification. This went off without a hitch. This is
Yeah.
like if when Shot in the Dark was first implemented, that the first person that did Shot in the Dark got it. This is
Yeah.
how exciting this idol is.
No,
And
it is.
it's so good. It's so good.
It is, like, because even Shot in the Dark was kinda like a game mechanic, but we're starting to see. I mean, that's what I'm saying, we have to give it up to these players because even seeing Emily use Shot in the Dark in the way that it is season 45 is feeding us, it's feeding us, but I have questions for you just digging a little bit into this treasure hunt
Mhm.
about the way that Dee and Julie played, because I think we've already talked a little bit about how well, I mean, no, we
I have
haven't.
thoughts. I
How
have
did you
thoughts. Yeah.
well, actually, we did. Well, did you think okay, no, no, no. I wanna rewind back. Drew gets Drew gets caught,
Right.
right, by D. Did you think that his lie and Austin's lie was, 1, worth it, and 2, good? I mean, we know it wasn't that believable, but, like,
What was the
how
lie?
do you feel about it?
What was
So
the lie?
the lie was this. They were like, "Oh, we don't have a clue. We just saw that Sifu was digging here a while ago, so
Well,
we
yeah,
saw."
but then later I did peep that, but then what stands out of my mind further is when Austin is like, "Oh, we have this paper and there's a message on the thing you decoded." How did that come about? He said they found something now,
Yeah, he said that that was Austin's later lie. We
and
just found
it was
this.
that moment where I started getting feeling shaky about Drew because Drew cannot keep a straight face, baby. He
No.
gonna need to learn keeping a straight face because
This
I
seven
agree.
years.
I felt him in the sense of like once they had already lied, if that lie, the we just found this and this is what it is from Austin would have made me uncomfortable. But Drew had to just like let it be Austin's thing and let it play. But
Yeah,
his face was like he was looking like, oh no, like this
his
is
heart
bad.
was,
Yeah, but and we could see it. I'm sure D's intuitive ass could see it.
oh
So
my god.
data point, put that in. That's going to come back. I bet you that moment,
No.
that situation is going to come back.
Things
Going
like
to D and Julie,
yes, please.
how they found the hammer and all that until Austin and Drew.
We'll
I
do that.
really think it might be because Austin opened the Beware advantage, his vote was already gone. If I had to guess, it was going to be one of two things. Let's say you throw the hammer away and you're never going to find it, and now Austin never has a vote. Or
Yeah.
like even if they found the idol, I don't think the idol could have been theirs because they didn't take the risk of losing their vote.
You're so
I
right
think it
there.
might have been production that was like, y'all can't really have it no way. So like you might have, you know what I mean? Either they was gonna have to sabotage Austin for a long time,
Right.
or they had to eat it. And especially since they don't know the swap is coming, there's no benefit to him never having a vote.
No, no, you're so right,
So I think
especially
that
if
might be what it was. Yeah.
especially if they're an alliance, especially if they're already looking to target Sifu or J Maya, but most likely Sifu, then yeah, it doesn't. You're so right that it's not advantageous for them to have this idol. I also was just like, yeah, it builds trust. You know, it's like you find the idol quicker. At least you know whose hands it's in. Like it's not like you know it's more easy to know about it than to like just try to sabotage somebody else from getting it unless they're your mortal enemy. And
Yep.
you know, they are kind of playing on that 301 level where it's like, okay, I'm thinking about how not only how I'm perceiving you or you're perceiving me, but how you are perceiving how I'm perceiving you. And you probably are worried that I don't trust you
Yep.
anymore. So I'm going to give you a show that I trust
Dang,
you,
that
you
was
know?
good. I don't know. D is kind of playing as you explain that out. D,
She's
I
playing.
am rooting for D. I'm rooting for D.
She's playing.
I'm
She's
rooting for D. She is playing. She's chilling, but she's playing.
I love that. She's in such a great position for what you would want to be on a tribe. So kudos to her. Kudos to Julie. I think Julie is also, you know, playing up the mother world. That's how she even got into Dee's good graces. So
Mhm.
and Drew's, you know, so I think that Julie is doing what she's supposed to do. Again, you don't need to be playing that hard. You don't need to be the leader of the tribe the way that Drew is even being right now. But I like how Drew's playing. I think that like especially this technique that he has with telling people stuff so that he can get information back. It's a great technique. So, any other thoughts? Any last thoughts about the red tribe before we move on to the blue?
I was gonna say, nah, we could get to the blue.
All right.
Not too much happened, but I thought when we first saw blue, because Lulu had won the reward challenge, I thought maybe they have momentum. Maybe they won't go to tribal tonight. And I thought the episode was setting us up to see Blue go to tribal.
Yeah, I thought so
Because
too.
they were bickering back and forth. I said, "Uh oh, my girl Couture is in danger, baby. She's in danger." But that didn't happen. So I'm still rooting for you, black girl. Let's go.
Yes.
Let's
I
go.
love I love Katura. And I thought like starting with her, I guess we can start with her. In her own confessional, she thinks that she's playing it very cool about her
She's not.
thoughts towards Bruce.
And that is worrying to me. She is not playing it cool. They know she hates Bruce, and I'm actually getting worried for her because if I'm reading the edit and I'm just listening and seeing what she does, I have reason to worry.
Yeah.
But I hope
Bruce is
I'm
gonna be
wrong.
her ultimate downfall. Like
The
she's
swap
gonna
might
be
save her. The
yeah,
swap might save her, but if she swapped on the same tribe as Bruce, whew,
Bruce. It's over. It's
yeah, it's
over. It's over. Unless and so we get back. I mean, yeah, not much has changed with Blue. I don't have much else to say about Blue that I didn't say last episode because when you're in a tribe like that where there's two clear divides, you need to be in the middle. And this is why I do like the way that Kendra is played, because I think she started to recognize that, like, oh, me and Katura are kind of versus the boys, or she's
Mhm.
recognizing. I don't think she realizes that old girl. I'm forgetting her name again. Julie. It's not Julie. It's
There's another girl in blue. It's Kendra and Couture, Bruce.
uh, this is terrible. I think it's Julie. It's Julie.
Oh, I thought Julie was the mom.
No, no, you're right. She's the mom. Dang it. It's oh my goodness. That's terrible. It's the other woman on blue. I'm gonna get her name. Bellow cast survivor. I
It's
get
a lot of people. It is a lot of people, and we be seeing Lulu so much that it's really
oh
easy
my
to remember Lulu and nobody else.
Kelly. So
Ah, I liked Kelly last episode. Shout out Kelly. I'm sorry,
shout out
Kelly.
Kelly. So sorry, Kelly. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry. It's because you're playing such a good under the radar game,
yeah.
girlfriend. Because like Kendra picked up on the fact. Me, Katora, Kelly, the K's, the September babies, it's the women versus the men. Let me start to forge these connections with the men. And she just did a little later than Kelly did. Kelly forged her connection with Brando, but
Mm,
Kendra is forging her connection with Jake. This is leaving Katura and Bruce on the farthest reaches of the outside. And I'm like, not the blacks. And also Katura, like, if you could just take the advice, hear me retroactively from the past to
yeah,
pull your enemy, because nobody will know. Nobody will be able to guess it. But it's like she's not able to see past the annoyance that everybody's annoyed by Bruce, as you
yeah.
can
And
see.
but what she also isn't doing is making a connection with a man. It doesn't have to be Bruce, but
You're right.
for me, if I was a girl on that tribe, I think Brando would be the best person to reach out to because he looks like he'd be for the girls, baby.
Yeah.
So I think Brando would be the way to keep the girls strong.
Yes.
However, Jake, who you said Kendra reached out to Jake. That's a
Yes.
smart move because Jake
Also,
is such a broy dude who would think he's working with you. Okay, that's smart.
I
Bruce,
love this.
yeah, everybody's annoyed by Bruce, and Couture is the only one that's outwardly show. Literally, they were like, or maybe there was memes on Twitter, but they were like, anybody on the Blue Tribe, hey, like, is the fire ready? Couture, God, we got to get rid of Bruce. Like, it is feeling like that, and
Uh,
you don't want to be like that. You don't.
you
You know what? It
don't.
feels like when you're at a job that you just can't stand
Oh,
every day.
yeah.
All you talk about is how much you hate your job. I mean, you be at church, you be at
Yes.
hobbies, you be in the house.
Yes.
Every moment you have, you talk about how much you hate your job because you just can't take it. I
Yeah.
think that's where Couture is with Bruce.
Yeah.
And that is not good at in the game of Survivor.
It's not. So I'm worried that this is going to be like the Fishback Joe story where, you're so focused, you're so tunnel vision on this big whale that's not even that big of a whale. I see Bruce in a similar category as Caleb, where it's like he's such an easy target. He's such an easy shield that,
Mhm.
like, if you could put up with him and see how he could work for your own strategy, then why not? Don't think she's kind of again playing on that 201 level. And
To
it's
your
like
advice and how you said if I woke up annoyed at somebody, I would try to forge a path with them. Like she does need to try and find something. Like
something,
I mean,
so
y'all black, that gotta be something. I
come
mean, I'm
on.
not saying all. I'm not saying
Oh
that
no.
just because we're black, we have necessarily anything to talk about, or you good folks, I'm good folks. But girl, find something.
Something.
She's
It's
had to
something.
encounter people. Yeah, she's had to encounter people like him before.
Yeah.
Interesting point though that I do think what gives me understanding to Couture is it says she's a civil rights attorney.
Uh,
Those rights, those kinds of attorneys. So one, they typically don't make a lot of money. So that means she really in it for the good. So
okay.
that tells you where she stands, and that means she probably has strong morals. And what she believes and how she feels is literally her job and what she fights for every day and promotes. And like, you know what I mean? So the fact that she sees Bruce and does not like him, she cannot pivot from it.
Yeah.
That's what we're seeing. She's stuck in this loop of like, I don't like him. He's annoying, and like, there's nothing else that can change my mind.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's not good. Like it's
Yeah.
probably not good in her day job. It's not good in this situation, and I want her to get out of it quickly, quickly, quickly.
I do too, because I want her to make it far. I want her to make it so far.
I'm
Like,
really nervous, you know.
she's so good, like, in these challenges, man. Like, I felt bad because she tripped up on the reward one. A lot of them did. Emily
A
too.
lot of them did. Emily took a tumble, boy.
I was crying. I was like, "Oh my gosh, stop, Sydney! Like the Lord is looking down on you." But no, Katura, she killed it. I mean, Blue. Everybody did so well in that.
Kendra, I feel to me for Blue Tribe, Kendra as the caller was so good at the puzzle.
She did amazing, and I just loved the way they were pushing things through. It just everybody was working like a team. So I just want her to make it. You know, just of course I have this bias as her as a black woman. And yeah, we'll see. But I did, to your point, I do think that this new alliance of Kendra and Jake is very fun, and we'll see what happens with Old Bello. But as we move forward, move on really to our next segment,
Mm-hmm.
really want to zoom out and say, episode rating. Krystal, what
5
would
out of
you rate
5, baby.
this
10 out of
episode?
10, 12 out of 10. This is, and we're kind of removed from the other seasons. This might be the best episode post Winners at War.
Wow, you heard it here first. Okay.
Possibly. Like from what I can remember, and obviously there's recency bias, but
Oh no,
like I think this, like we saw so many new things.
yeah.
Like I'm willing to stand on, because what 41 we had Erica's season. I'm sorry, 41 wasn't that good.
I loved.
42 was Marianne.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
42 is Marianne's season.
Yeah.
I think Marianne is a exciting winner.
Oh
I
yeah.
love that she was the winner, so that makes it a good season.
Yeah.
But 43. Who was 43? I don't
I think it
remember.
was Gabler.
No, I thought Gabler was last season.
No,
Who was
Gabler.
last season? I thought Gabler was
Jam
last.
Jam. Jam Jam was last season.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, so Gabler, throw that out the window. I thought I was going to watch Survivor again after Gabler won, so throw that one out the window. And then yeah, Jam Jam. Jam Jam was a good winner. Loved it. I loved Carolyn. I think that was a good season. But this episode right here, baby. Yeah, yeah.
I would agree with you as far as best pre-merge episode, only off the strength that Shan is one of my absolute favorite players in Survivor in a long time from Survivor 41.
She was
Uh,
good.
I had a soul connection with Shan. I feel
I
like
feel that.
I would play a lot like her, even make some of the mistakes that she did.
Really
Yeah,
interesting.
personally, but she made a lot of mistakes that I could see myself also getting caught up in the
She
web
did
I
make
was.
a lot of mistakes.
But her and Ricard's
Yeah.
back and forth post merge was epic to me, and the downfall of their own
I would
cookout.
say the downfall of Shan probably was a good episode. When Ricard got Shan out, that was good.
That was pretty good. So it's hard for me to compare to that, but pre-merge, because I thought that even Gabler's season had a pretty strong
It
pre-merge.
did. Carla and them was a good, and Cassie and all them. It's just the fact that Gabler won. I think is for me.
It was what it was. This though, and we still have the winner to behold. This simply because it wasn't like for any of those other seasons. It was like the players themselves and the dynamics. But this episode not only had the players, it had the game mechanics, it had the treasure hunt, the intrigue, it had the reward challenges, it had them eating,
It
it
had
had all
everything.
of my
It had
favorite
everything.
Survivor
It had everything.
things in it. I mean, the tribal council in itself was epic. There was not one portion of this epic episode, maybe other than the blue tribe, that was really dull. So
This tribal council. What I will say about this tribal is, outside of a final tribal of the last 5 seasons, this was the best tribal we've seen.
so memorable. So
Yes, like
memorable.
this is the most memorable outside of a final. I think Marianne's final tribal was very
Oh
memorable.
yeah.
Whatever. But outside of a final tribal since season 40, this one right here, and it's even better. Like, what's really crazy, it wasn't even a live tribal. People weren't getting up and whispering, and yet so much happened.
Yes, there were so many dynamics to really see there. I do have to shout out though, if we're talking about tribals, Jesse when he took Cody out, that
You're
was
right.
wild.
It
That was a
was.
wild tribal for the same reasons that this was a wild tribal. It's just I can't believe this one was wild pre-merge. At least with the Jesse Cody one, that was earned through so many other episodes of them being allied. This one was so epic because we're so early on. You don't know who truly is your ally. It came out that Emily and Caleb, that trust, that bond was true, even only after 7 days. So yeah, I think that this is such a strong episode, such a
You're right.
strong.
Jesse and Cody was a good one.
was
But it's
crazy.
like I think what made Jesse and Cody a good one was the result of the tribal, which I'm not
Yeah.
obviously the result of this tribal was
Fair,
good
fair,
too. But
fair, fair.
literally, like Sabaya is roasting an idol. We haven't seen anything like this since Adam Klein tried to go to the podium and
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like it's that kind of stuff mixed with what really seals the deal for me is she roasts the idol,
Yes.
gets it. She goes to vote, opens it, reads it. I can either vote and I have this idol and it only works for one tribal. I'm at tribal right now. That means I would have to play it. If I don't use my vote this one, it at least gets me to 10. And then if I don't do it twice, it can go till 5.
Right.
And she's sitting here weighing this and that and da da da. What's really crazy to me is not only did she need her vote, she needed the idol. If
Yeah.
she would have used the idol for herself, because God forbid, oh, if she would have used the idol on somebody else
Oh my gosh.
and
Even
then
if,
still went home,
oh my lord.
I think that's the only way this episode could have been any better is if she used that idol and still went home.
Still went
That
home.
would have been
Oh
iconic.
my goodness.
If she would have used the idol, she'd still be in the game.
Yeah.
It's all of it together that is just like
Beautiful.
chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss. Wonderful episode.
What's your rating? What's your rating? I'm assuming, but
Oh yeah, no, this is definitely 5 out of 5 for me. It had everything in it. And I know I keep going back to this food, but literally like as they it's a ritual for me. Like whenever I see survivors making that's why I have to have my own dinner when I watch a survivor because whenever I see survivors about to eat, I enjoy my food that much more because it's nothing
interesting.
like being hungry as people eating the most regular food and loving it. Like
I feel
they,
like the reward could have been better. A plate of fruit, Jeff. Get them some Applebee's or something. Y'all be pressed to have the Applebee's out there. Australian Survivor, they be pressed over KFC. Get them some KFC, something.
something. I mean, but that fruit looks so good. But they could have had more because usually they have like fruit and spices and fish and
Yeah,
all
get them
this
something
other
chill.
stuff. They usually have a feast. They need
The
to give
one
it
thing
the
they can go
scrap.
scavenge for is fruit.
I
You
know.
said
I
what?
know. Exactly. Like they really gave them
Yeah.
scraps. Like, and he tells it, oh, this is the monster of the game. This is it's like, okay, just tell us that your budget was cut. Just tell us that. Okay.
Do they
Because
even have rice and beans? Like, do they have food at camp?
they have no rice and beans. They have
Jesus.
nothing. Nothing.
Okay.
Okay, so it's very bleak out there for them, and that's where their true colors come out, man. So, yeah, no, this episode for me, 5 out of 5. And I hope, I mean, I know that not every episode is gonna be like this, but I hope that we're able to come with some sort of smoke with this tribe swap in next episode. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll get to predictions in a second, but before then, we gave our thoughts on the episode. Let's start to see how some other people were feeling about this
Ooh.
episode
I'm
right
excited.
here. So,
Twitter had
I
me cracking up last night.
yes, it was pretty funny. So we're gonna first look at we're pulling this from X, formerly known as Twitter itself. We're gonna start with Sabaya's mom in a message that she had for her daughter.
Is going to go down in survivor history. What you did, barbecuing at tribal council, that was brilliant. That was amazing. Who thinks of that? My daughter thinks of that. You're amazing. I love you. Be proud. Stand tall. You did your thing, girl. You broke ground on Survivor, and they loved you. The fans are gonna love you. Everybody's loving you right now because you went for
Mm-hmm.
broke. You did everything you possibly
Did it.
could to stay in the game. So I probably would have held on to that muni idol until the merge too. You did your thing. Be proud. Stand tall. Never give up. Never surrender. I love you. Woo! You're amazing.
Aw. So cute.
No,
Okay,
how'd you
first of all, her mama is so cute. Shout out, mom.
beautiful.
You know I have to say it. Why doesn't mom have an accent like Sabaya has?
I don't know. I can't
Mom
explain.
speaks like you know all my aunties and everybody. Like she talk like you know what I mean. Sabaya got that. I was trying to practice, but it's so hard. It's so
It's so hard to place.
yeah. She's like I can't even think of a phrase she says.
She's like, when we get to
Yeah,
tribal,
she's like yeah. So Jeff, I mean, Emily's been targeting us since day one, and now I can't even. It's so tough, and it come out because sometimes it sound like mom, and then sometimes it be
It's like she chooses specific words at the end of
yes.
the sentence to really draw out, or at the beginning of the sentence. It's never consistent ever. It's so
I
wild.
just want to know why mom doesn't have an accent. But
I
shout out mom, that was very nice. Shout out mom. Shout out
you
Soraya. She went for broke. Um, at the very least, it's iconic. You know, it might have been a downfall, but it's a memorable downfall, and everybody can't say that. Okay,
no,
so I think that's worth something.
they can't. So no, and even just going to this next tweet, I feel like Shannon Gus said it best. She says Sabaya led an all-time pre-merge tribe, turned on her closest ally, got blindsided by her initial nemesis, lost, gained and sacrificed her vote, barbecued an idol, and had an epic downfall, all without ever writing a name. An amazing character shall be missed. I agree. Like, I mean, to have all
Iconic
of
behavior.
in
Mm-hmm.
3 episodes alone, like iconic,
It was
iconic. I hope
iconic.
they bring her back. I really
Shout out.
do.
Shout out. It was iconic. You can't say it wasn't.
You can't. She played her ass off. She went for broke, and like that's not necessarily what's gonna win you Survivor, but that's gonna leave like that's legend status, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
she I think that I know just knowing who we got to see on screen. She's probably watching herself back, probably talking to other survivor communities like, damn, why did I play so hard to begin with? And she's the perfect person to have a second chance. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see how she fares next time.
Mm-hmm.
But let's move on to the next tweet that I wanted to get here, where we haven't actually been talking about the secret scenes. This is the first secret scene that I have personally seen, but I thought it was pretty interesting that it was so popular when I went on Twitter.
In Hinduism has a very specific meaning. And my favorite chant is a chant basically that just asks for peace to all beings on earth.
Right.
And so in general, when you chant, you have your arms like this, your thumb touching your first finger, your back is straight, you close your eyes. Okay. And this one is really simple. It's just the same line repeated many times. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. So loka
Lokas,
samasta
samasta,
sukhino
sukino,
bhavantu.
navantu.
Let's try it all together.
Okay.
Loka samasta. I think my faith is something that really like tethers me out here. I go to the beach sometimes when I'm feeling overwhelmed and I meditate and I chant and I just try to remind myself of all the good in the world that exists, even with all the stress and the chaos. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. There's so many values, I think, ingrained in Hinduism, like steadiness, perseverance, endurance, and just kind of giving up control. And in a game like Survivor, it's kind of true. It's important to take a step back and say, look, I'm going to give this my all, but at the end of the day, I can't control the outcome. And it's helpful to have that reminder. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Okay, that was mini Hinduism 101.
That was beautiful.
So every
That was beautiful. Here's something we have not. So in the olden days of Survivor, the real religious folks used to make it very, very far. This might have been a foreshadowing as such. You know what? J. Maya might go far. The people that believe in God, got a faith, they be going far.
You're so right.
They go far. I mean, if we look, Vesepia, Tyson is really Mormon.
Yes.
These are just the first. Yeah.
Natalie from Survivor 19, Russell season. Huge
Yeah,
Christian.
like it's been a lot of people that's been really religious.
Yes.
That have gone far.
Oh my gosh, you're so completely right. And
That's interesting. I don't think we've ever seen someone that practices Hinduism, but
no,
that would be nice. I would love that. I would
love that because Rob the Podfather often talks about how Survivor is truth serum. And when you're out there, everything is stripped from you. Honestly, a lot of the things that you really can only carry with you is your spirituality. And so I love the fact that they, sometimes secret scenes can be used to show maybe tribal dynamics that we haven't necessarily
Mhm.
seen between different people, or maybe it can show. I mean, there's only little times where, or maybe once or twice this season, where it shows some sort of strategy that could
Mhm.
inform the rest of the timeline or was really thrown away. This is one of the times where I love that they did dive deep into spirituality. I'm a very spiritual person myself, not necessarily into Hinduism, but I love to see them hone in on one person, especially somebody that we haven't got to really see in the main
Mhm.
timeline, and see how, like, what she represents for herself and for her tribe, because that was
Yeah.
beautiful.
I like
Yeah.
her mentality. She's moved up on my list. I really like how she was like, you don't have control. You got to surrender all that. Which I mean, I think all the major religions have similar themes, and
Oh
that
yeah.
is a talking point of them. Um, Shout out to CBS on their diverse casting.
Yes.
Because right now on Big Brother, they have a Sikh. They have this guy Jag, who's a Sikh. He wears his turban
Yes.
and everything. They got a deaf guy, which we've had a couple of deaf survivors, but they're doing a really good job of diversity in
Hmm.
ways I don't think we necessarily, I think everyone's like, okay, white, black, Asian, XYZ.
Oh no,
We
not
had
just
Omer
race.
on Marianne's season. Omer and Marianne connected because of their religions, even though
Yeah.
Omer's Muslim and Marianne is basically a pastor. I like
Yeah.
was in seminary school. Marianne talk about religion. I think
You're so right. Yeah.
the people that have strong faith, I think they have something outside of themselves driving them, and
Yes.
I think it gives them an edge.
It
Uh,
does.
you know what? I'm rooting for J. I'm excited. That I like that. I really like that. I really
I
like.
am too.
I really
I
like.
am too. So yes, had to give us a little bit of a nugget there. Maybe we'll check out some more secret seeds in the future if they're really that poppin'. But the last tweet that you sent me of quite literally foolishness,
I
and
loved
I
it.
need you to explain it in the same way you
Please
explained
blow it
it
up
to me,
for me. Make it
is
bigger.
the fall of Lulu. Okay, please explain each and every photo here. So
I
first,
think the viewers at home get it, baby. Okay, we have the tribe. Okay, we know what they look like. Boom. Show me some more. This is the vape. This is the Nick stick. Okay, this is the Nick stick that made homegirl quit on day 3 at the first tribal. The Nick stick, because she couldn't have the Nick stick, she had to go home
yes.
and go sleep in a bed. So
This is
that's
the
what that
one that
is.
tripped me up. This is the one I was like, "What is this? Why do they have? I think this is a babe. Why do they have a babe on
It's the
here?" And
Nick stick
that's
because
foolishness.
she was in her withdrawal. She
Yes,
went home because she couldn't have a vape. That's crazy. Next
crazy.
picture. We all know this one. No explanation needed. No explanation needed for this one. This was Brandon's. This ladder.
Do you think that Brandon has a fear of ladders now? Like, he's traumatized. It's a trigger at this point.
Was so funny. I just saw like maybe a TikTok of him. They have like a Survivor video game now.
Oh, I do know that.
Yeah, so
Yes.
he he was like, "Oh, it's funny because he's like, "Oh, I just got the Survivor video game, let's say on Xbox." And he has the Xbox controller, but then it goes to the screen and he's like, "Why won't they move? Why won't they move?" But it's him, can't get up the ladder.
No, this
So
is
at
in
least he has a good sense of
timeline.
humor about it. He's laughing at himself about it, so we too can laugh. Although Brandon, proud of you for going out there and trying, but baby, I don't know. Um,
This is a canonical event in his life. Ladders will always
this
be
has
his
been an event for
downfall.
Survivor. Yeah. So this ladder is what Brandon couldn't get up on day 1. Next
Yes,
picture, the
finally.
cookout, baby. Worlds collide. The cookout.
Oh
Talk
my
about
goodness.
diversity. They having cookouts on Survivor, baby. What?
Come on, come on. Oh, and shout out to the Survivor Diversity campaign that made CBS. They petitioned for them to do that. So, but no, I am dying at this entire map, this entire meme. This illustrates the first 3 episodes, the fall of Lulu. Lulu is no more, at least of what it used to be. They're gonna be swapped up very soon. We'll have new Lulu members. Hopefully they can fare a bit better than this first round in
I
addition.
don't. I don't think there's a way they can't. So unless the tribe stays the same, I don't think there's a way they don't do better than
Yeah.
the original Lulu. Because wow, we.
Absolutely. So no, we see some fun things here, but honestly, we're gonna wrap up with any predictions on your end of where we go next, what we see. What do you think is really going to happen, and who do you think is going to excel in this tribe swap?
I'm not sure because the swap throws me for a loop. I didn't realize this was the first swap since
Oh
the
yeah.
new era.
Oh yeah.
Um, I did think a swap was coming once Lulu got down to 3. I thought a swap would be coming either this next episode or the next time they came down to 2.
Fair.
I would prefer it to be swapped into 2 tribes.
Okay.
I think it's going to be 3, and so if it's 3, I don't know. It's too many things at play. I
Yeah.
think Caleb should be worried.
Oh
I
yeah.
think Bruce should be worried. Those are
But
the big.
see,
I
see,
think
like
Drew maybe should be worried.
who?
Drew.
Drew, so I think that Drew especially should be worried because he doesn't seem like a big physical player to me like that. But Caleb and Bruce, I do think that they'll might have some staying power just because tribes still need to it's not an individual game yet.
That's true.
Tribes still need to win immunity to be safe altogether. So I think that they'll stick around just a little longer. But I
It
do
depends
think
who else is on the tribe, though.
no, it all depends on that. Like, I think that I worry for anybody who has some sort of nemesis, like D and Drew or D and Austin. Like,
Or
if
Katura.
only Katura and Bruce, Emily and not
I actually think Emily's going to be fine. I actually think Emily is probably going to whatever tribe she goes to. I think she might be running it by the end of it.
I hope. I just it took her. I hope she learns her lesson for not being off-putting. You can see she still had some slips here and there throughout this episode. I love how they show such a full story for every character, by the way. But if it's just Emily and Sean is going to run for the wolves and like be like, I need to get Emily out of there so I can take out Caleb's number 2. So I just think that it's like or even Caleb and Sean, like I think that I don't know if Sean would go and work with Caleb, having feared that, Caleb's not
Here's a
coming.
prediction. I think if Sean is on a tribe with Caleb or Emily, depending on who else is on that tribe, I actually think Sean is going to bite down his pride and team up with that person.
I hope.
Because imagine when
I
they come
hope.
back from tribal, they don't know a swap is happening. Sean is
Right.
going to be groveling. He's going to be like, oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
And he's going to
Yes.
be like, I'm with you. Like, this is 3. Like, he's not going to show that he's upset. I'm with you. Da da da. That's a prediction number 1. Scene number 1 of next episode when they come back to camp. Sean's be like, oh, I get why you did it. She was so strong. Da 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 da. I'm with you. Blah blah. So he's going to do that before they
Right.
find out they have a swap.
Yeah.
If he gets confessionals, we're going to see him toying with the idea of like, damn, do I throw them under the bus? Do I do this? Because if Pete, all 3 Lulu, if it's 3 tribes, all of them might go to separate tribes.
Yes. You're
So now
so
what?
right.
So, but I think if 2 of them go together, I think it would still benefit him possibly to stay connected to whoever that other person is, even though they threw him under the bus last tribal.
You're right. And I love the part that you bring up about them each going to potentially different tribes. I feel like anybody who does swap to a completely different tribe almost always is in a power position because they're going to try to talk you up for your vote to vote out whoever like is on the other side. So
Mm-hmm.
even Caleb started to talk to Reba this episode about, hey, I'll tell Lulu to hook up with Reba to take out Bello. I think that those were little seeds. Those were little seeds for what we might start to see formulate this red versus blue and yellow being caught in the middle, very similarly to how purple was caught in the middle last season. So yeah, we have
And
a
who
lot.
was sitting in the final last season?
Two
2
purple, bro.
purple.
Who was sitting in the final
Exactly.
four? Three purple.
Exactly. All 3 of them. So,
Come on. So
yep.
yeah,
So,
you're right. You're right. I think that they can make their way out of this, but man,
yeah, I don't know. I think the swap adds an element that I agree with you that the people with Nemesis, I think, should be worried. I think the people that look powerful should be worried.
yeah.
And outside that, I don't know. I can't tell yet.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, we're gonna know soon enough. This wraps up our recap for episode 3 of Survivor, a phenomenal 5 out of 5 episode. Thank you so much,
Man.
Nerd Krystal, for joining us.
Thank
It was
you. This was a pleasure. Man, oh
yeah,
man.
yeah. sharing your expert thoughts, making the insights fly, sharing your tweets, your ridiculous tweets to all of our viewers. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated on all things nerdy. And yeah, remember to check out all the other suggested videos at the end. I'll link the Peridium video about the different levels of strategy at the end of this one, so y'all can check that one out. But please make sure to check out the rest of our recaps here on Hot Nerd Network. Until next time, may the best nerd win. Bye.
Let's do it.